Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Lenovo ThinkBook Plus Gen 3. Now, this just arrived from Lenovo for review purposes. This particular configuration retails for roughly $1,250 US at the time of this video. I'll include a link in the description for those of you interested in picking one up. And what makes it unique is that it has two displays, neither of which is a standard aspect ratio, at least in 2023. Now, I do remember having a laptop from Toshiba with a similar display, that is the main display in this 21 by 10 ultra wide format, and I think it is really cool. It's not for everyone, but this machine is really designed for content creators, for those of you that are wondering, or I would say just creative professionals in any walk of life where you actually can make use of what this has to offer. So the main display is again, 17.3-inch panel. It has 3K resolution. It's 120 hertz, 400 nits of brightness. I can give you specific res later. Going from memory here, we've got an i7 under the hood. That is the 12th Gen H series, so the 12700H, which is also, I think, a nice processor to have under the hood. In addition to that, we've got an 8-inch Full HD. That one I know is 1280 by 800. That's laid into the keyboard deck there, offset to the right side. Color accuracy is supposed to be excellent. We have touchscreen on both of these panels. We have a garaged pen. We have 16 gigs of DDR5 memory, half terabyte NVMe inside. You can upgrade to 32 gigs of RAM or 1 terabyte on the NVMe. I will find out if I can upgrade it, of course, and answer questions. But it is really just wide, which does make the machine a little bit heavier. I believe it has a 68 watt-hour battery. I'm not expecting this to win any contests when it comes to any of that. But packaging is nice, and this is not a really expensive product, but it is a really cool one. So let's see. They made this easy for me to open. This was by design. And I like that. So already you've got points. And for a change, I've got a brand new product here, folks. A lot of times when I get units for review, they are not brand spanking new. So always cool to see, you know, the birth of the machine, if you will, here in the studio. But I'm sure someone else has already put this online. I'm probably not the first. Sometimes I am. Those of you that follow the channel know that. And it's been a while since I've got a laptop online. So I'm just glad to be back in the mix. You know, life is short, folks. So you can see it's a surfboard. I had a Toshiba like this. It was really cool. I will not forget it. I cannot remember the actual model on that. But when I got hit by Hurricane Sandy and things were not pretty, that machine was great because it was one of the first units that allowed you to power share, essentially use its battery to charge other devices. So this is going to be driven by a Type-C charger for sure, and I'm looking for that power brick. And here it is. Should have easily figured that out, along with the remaining paperwork. And as I mentioned, the pen is garaged on this unit. Now, what's unique and also a little bit, you know, something I wish they could change is that I do not believe you can use the pen on the main display. It is only usable on the keyboard deck display. Again, lending itself to those of you who are wondering, this is really designed for a very specific audience. And a lot of people will look at that secondary panel and think that it's probably of no use. And then there will be some of you that I think will find this is pretty much something that you feel like was designed for you. 100-watt charger. So, you know, you're not going to have a problem finding a charger for this machine. Now let's get into it here. Forgive me if I have any problems with handling. See, this is where it should be really easy for me. And it is. So again, good on Lenovo. So this is, I believe, Storm Gray. Construction seems good. Pretty much standard ThinkBook material here. And I mean, I like what I'm seeing already as long as it stays in focus, right? Let's see if I can get some tracking on this since my FX3 is getting fooled ever since that firmware update. So just a quick tour around the hardware, as long as we can stay in focus, right? We've got branding on the hinge, along with what appears to be a lock, definitely a lock, privacy lock for the webcam. Along the right side of the machine, totally clean, nothing there. Like that already. Very industrial look to this, like many of Lenovo's machines. But come to the back, and we do have some real ports, which is, as I try to get them in focus, something you don't see very often on machines in, I would say, this sort of form factor. Although, when do you see too many machines with a 17.3-inch 21 by 10 display? That also happens to be incredibly color accurate and high, refresh. It's a great thing. HDMI out, 2 Type A ports, Type C port there, which is a Thunderbolt port. Thunderbolt 4, of course, on board. And then we've got another Type C port right there, which I believe also, of course, is going to let you charge. That is, I don't know if that one is also, that is not a Thunderbolt port. And then you've got a headphone jack there as well. Hopefully that comes into focus. It should. Still struggling a bit, but you get the picture. Nothing else on the side there. Your garaged pen hiding on the right side, in case anybody was wondering. So I believe it's just a pull-out. I don't really have nails. I believe it doesn't. There's no pop out anymore, and of course I'm having problems. That's not surprising, but I assure you, it's me. So there it is, and this is one of those love or hate relationships. It really depends on the user, but I've always liked the Garage Pen. That's definitely a nice thing. Let's open it up. I know you've been waiting for the drum roll. Can it be done with one hand? Yes, it can. It lifted a little. We've got clear instructions about what we're looking at here. Note when first booting, you need to connect the power adapter. Luckily, I do have a 100 watt ready, so we'll give it a plug in. Your camera, privacy switch right there, the main display. And I think this is really smart that they're doing this. They're being really clear about how to use the machine for everyone. So definitely smart. I think this is something that we should continue to see. And there is that secondary display, which is really cool. Both are matte finish. I mean, this is built for someone who is, again, creative, wants to get things done. You've got a solid processor. Do I wish we had a dedicated GPU? Yeah, I do. I mean, they could make this a little bit bigger. Obviously, that would be reminiscent of Asus's Pro Duo line. But this might actually be a lot more useful. Because this is a solid piece of real estate designed for pen input. You don't have that with the Pro Duo. I think Lenovo has the means to really flesh this out, but this could be a great start. Now, I'm going to hit the power button anyway and be a bad boy, and it's not going to work. We knew that, right? But let me go ahead and just grab power supply here so we can actually get this going. And after that, it's going to be time for me to actually start using the machine. And this is a 100 watt Lenovo, so don't worry. It will be kosher, so to speak. There we have it. And, build quality's nice. The keyboard, it's a little tighter than you might want. Let me go ahead and bring this in. Do it fast. I'm not going to do anything dramatic. Nothing too cinematic. But you can see the keyboard it's not cramped, okay? There's scale with the hands. I don't have gigantor hands, but they're average. They're normal, at least in my opinion, and the rest of the family, I suppose, depending on who you ask. But decent-sized trackpad. I'm going to bring it out wide again. And it's all really a matter of, are you going to make use of that display, the secondary. And for some users, even having the 21 by 10 display is not going to be their cup of tea. But I think it's really cool. Very practical if that extra real estate, again, appeals to you. Now, I believe this is a touch screen, and it is. Both of these are touch. As I've mentioned, I believe the pen, though, does not work on the main display, only on this. So I could take you through this, but I'm not going to. I will save this for when I spend time with it alone. But I like the form factor. I think it's incredibly cool. The display looks very good. And remember, Lenovo is pitching this panel as being pretty much the next best thing to OLED. I say that because color accuracy is excellent and it's high refresh. So it's a win-win. I mean, gaming on this would definitely be very cool, which you could do. Those of you who are scratching their heads, you're in luck. I have an eGPU enclosure with a 3080, so maybe we test that out and see what gaming looks like on this 120 hertz ultra-wide screen. Although I'd rather use my 42-inch Asus, OLED panel. All things aside, this is a very cool machine from Lenovo. I love it when things get pushed. Of course, I'm going to have to go through the whole boot sequence for this to start working, but you're going to see that in the update. Hope you enjoyed the video. As usual, this machine is going to be, I think, a lot of fun to start using for video, photo editing. This is what it was pretty much designed for. Keeping tools docked here, editing in front of you, however you really want to make it work. You could even do preview. I mean, there's so many different things that I can see doing with this, and there are so many fields I don't work in that I know will also see overlap with that. So exciting stuff. But the one thing I don't expect is it to break any records with its 68 watt-hour battery again, but we'll see. You never know. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe, and please stay safe. Later.